Good afternoon, everybody. David with Bliss Bites here. Episode, I think it's up to episode 14 maybe now. Oh, fantastic. Well, hello. And what I've got is a foil envelope. Into my foil envelope, I am going to add, what today, 4.5 grams of cannabis. I'm going to put it in the oven at 200 degrees for 60 minutes. And then from there, that's going to toast it. And from the envelope, we're going to infuse it into some oil and make butter. So an hour's passed. I've now got a little bit of butter, cannabis, toasted, pot of water that is going to come to a slow, really a medium boil, nothing overly vigorous, but you need some of this water to boil off so we can then strain it and cool it overnight. Let's get this to a simmer. Alright, so I'm going to just let this simmer down a little bit and then strain it. Once it is strained, cool it a little bit so the fridge doesn't hate me, and then put it in the fridge to actually chill. And this is boiling a little too much. Turn that down a little. So this has reduced down, and I'm just going to filter it here in my old coffee filter. Standard operation here, hopefully. And as you know, I'm not very good at this on camera, so hopefully I can pull it off without spilling much. There we go. First little splash. And just pour it through as quick as your filter will allow. If you have a pot that has a little spout on it, even better. I don't. I use this same old pot and keep spilling, as anyone who's watched a few of these knows. But straining through clean enough. This, great color there. This will then cool for a little bit, go in the fridge overnight. I'll then pull the butter off, discard the water. And once that is done, the butter's ready to cook with. So, the last of it here. That's just filtering through. There we go. As it's coming to an end, it does not hurt just to push the last of it through a little bit. Push the water through, push all the THC out. There'll be water left in the plant material. Watch, it just wrings out, as you can see. There we go. I'm going to let this cool. Thank you. So this has been cooling for about a half hour, and I'll be putting it in the fridge now overnight. Alright, good evening. This is David with Bliss Bites, and what I have done is chopped up some potatoes really thin as I could get them. With that, I'm going to put them in the oven for a half hour at about 405, 420. In a half hour, I'm going to flip them, shake them up a little bit, cook them for another half hour. And during that half hour time, I'm going to make pork chops. Hope you guys like pork chops. I do. This is going to be good. Alright, so put a little bit of salt on some pork chops. Going to add some butter to a pan or oil. Let's use some oil. A little bit of olive oil back here. Got the stove behind me. Grease up my pan. And brown up my pork chops. Also a neat little trick, if it doesn't hurt, to take a little piece of paper towel and just give your pork chops or whatever meat you're using a little pat dry. That's going to help with the browning process here as you brown these off. And a big thing with the mushroom gravy, it's going to be very white, so you don't want white pork and white sauce in that it won't look as delightful. So let's brown off our meat. So you can hear my pork chops frying, and while those get going, I'm going to take them out and brown one side, and then we'll start working on the different things we'll put into this sauce. Actually, no, I'm just going to do it now. Then I'll pause this video. So, we're talking about putting things into a sauce. What do we got? We got garlic. Nice big hunk of garlic here. Losing some of my garlic, that'll happen. Should have controlled it. pile of garlic, I will have mushrooms. I know it's already, a mushroom sauce. To make mushroom sauce, I like some actual big pieces of mushroom. Let everyone know it's a mushroom sauce. The mushrooms I chose are cremini, but any mushrooms you see in your grocery store, even the pre-sliced white ones, are going to work just fine. Now you'll notice I'm pulling the stems out. I'm just going to use the caps in this recipe. I just find them a little more appealing, a little bit nicer on your mouth. Now don't throw away the stems. Easy thing to do with these is you'll be making stock at some point in the next little bit, I'm sure. Just go ahead and throw your mushroom caps into that. Now, looks like these mushrooms can be peeled. Just peel them very, very quickly. Just a little bit. Take some of this off. Now, you do not have to do this. It's just jumping out at me that these could use a little peel. So I am. I'm doing it kind of roughly as well. Now, there we go. And get these mushrooms peeled. Alright, so I've roughly peeled the mushrooms. I thought about flipping the pork chops, but they weren't quite ready. I did break up the garlic that you saw me starting to move. And now this little fella here in front of you is a shallot. It's like a really mild onion that also shares some of the traits of garlic. And tonight I know my company really likes garlic, so I'm throwing some more in the sauce. I really like garlic, so I've got extra garlic. You could easily get away with just using this shallot, and you'd have a ton of flavor out of it, and some garlicky taste as well. It does taste a little bit garlicky. Now, with this, you can peel it. All the peeling. There we go. And I'm just going to dice this up. As always, fingers back, quite along your knuckles. And you'll see this will just chop up nicely. There we go. Right down to this little ruby piece. You don't want to eat that now. Alright, and next little piece, exact same idea. Chop, chop, chop. These are beautiful little shallots. Fresh, a little bit of green there. Break that, chop that right out. And down, right down to that root again. There. Now, I'm going to take a look at my pork chops going behind me. Hopefully those are ready to flip. And they are ready to go. Great way to know when to flip your meat is it's going to let go on its own. If you have to pull it, prod at it, tear at it, it's not ready to flip. Just give it another moment. Okay. I'm sure you guys can hear that going as well. So I'm going to let that finish cooking off, browning, and we'll see how this sauce gets made. Alright, so I flipped the pork chops, and you'll see the middle one's really where I got it best. That one's the back. Probably use the pan, might even need centered a little bit better, but they're coming along. Once the other side looks like this, when they start releasing, they'll be cooked. Another great tip is start feeling them. As they firm up, once they feel like the inside of your hand, right in where your thumb and your index finger make your hand nice and firm, that's when they're cooked, and that's when the sauce will really start coming together. Because pork chops aren't sauce. Alright, so I flipped the pork chops, and you'll see the middle one's really where I got it best. That one's the back. Probably use the pan, might even need centered a little bit better, but they're coming along. Once the other side looks like this, when they start releasing, they'll be cooked. Another great tip is start feeling them. As they firm up, once they feel like the inside of your hand, right in where your thumb and your index finger make your hand nice and firm, that's when they're cooked, and that's when the sauce will really start coming together. Because pork chops aren't sauce. So I've just flipped the mushrooms. They'll do a minute on the other side, and I'll pull them out. And in goes some of what our base of all this. A North American base to a sauce. Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. And we did cream of cremini, funny enough. Cremini mushrooms in here. Shiitake as well. If you wanted to throw shiitake mushrooms in, again, use whatever mushrooms you want. This is going to be delicious, I promise you that. So I flipped one. There's a little bit of color on the other side. I'm just going to pull these out. There's going to be some mushroom juice here. That'll start becoming the base of our sauce. And I am going to turn the pan down a little bit. Speaking of the base to the sauce, that's not even true. What you've been watching is me start getting a bunch of different flavors in the bottom of this pan. The most important of which is going to be the pork bits that were left in there earlier. So, next in, empty pan again, fun. We will need our garlic. A big pile of raw garlic I have here. It's a little bit more roughly chopped than my shallots, so I'm going to start with that. And that pan's looking a little dry. I want to throw in some oil. Boom, that'll fry. So those will fry up nicely. In with those, what else couldn't hurt? Alright, we chopped up shallots, so let's drop those in. There we go. A few more on the board here. I'm behind you to see if I missed anything. And then they go. Mix those up. Now, you'll notice there's still a lot of stuff just stuck on the bottom of the pan. I'll get these softened, and then we'll start mixing it in a little bit more. And just play with the heat, get the heat to where you want it. It will vary stove to stove, person to person, how much attention you're paying to this in terms of mixing it. For the love of God, please don't burn your garlic or the whole thing will be a little bit bitter. There we go. So, best part of this, you need to deglaze your pan. That's a cooking term, really it just means cleaning the pan. I mentioned a little bit of mushroom bits, a little bit of pork bits, they need cleaned off. White wine would work fantastic. I prefer vermouth, dry vermouth at that. It's going to have a little bit more flavor and also shelf life. It can sit on your shelf for a month, 2 months. It's not going to turn. It's 18% liquor and not actual wine. So I'll put in a big can of that. Boom. Done. Now if I dumped in things right now, it would taste very boozy. But in half a moment, this will be exactly where we want in terms of adding some cream and slowing our cooking reaction. And you'll see those bits that were stuck to the pan have come right off. And I'm starting adding some flavor to our sauce. Speaking of adding flavor to our sauce, Herb de Provence, PC brand apparently. If you haven't heard of Herb de Provence, think Italian seasoning, but a little milder, a little more French, a little more pleasant. And I'm putting in a big pinch of cayenne because, as we've talked about before, we like it hot here at Bliss Bites. So, what am I missing? Right, cream of mushroom soup. You let that boil for another minute, evaporate, reduce. I think reduce is the right term. If you want to be chefy about it, we're reducing this. That's going to do two things in this case. Most importantly, boil off the alcohol. It would taste terrible just raw like that. Big splash of raw vermouth. And then secondly, to concentrate some of the flavors. Go. Next in goes the cream of mushroom soup. Good times, there it goes. Boom, with a little soup. Get in there, scrape the inside of your can. The lid's on there, do not cut your hand, which you guys have seen me do in past episodes. When I bleed, when I'm angry, mostly myself, because you know better than to grab the inside of a can with my hand. Now that's not going to mix very well, is it? Look at it. How are we going to mix that? Really a mess still. Let's add some more liquid, see what we can do. So what am I using? Whipping cream. If you have cereal cream, use cereal cream. If you have milk, use milk. Use what you have is a big part of cooking. We give this a little mix. There we go. It's going to keep coming together. Oh, that's lovely, beautiful there. You see it's coming already. The cream's mixing in, helping break apart the soup. The little mushroom pieces, the onions, the garlic. Of course, the shallots. What's missing? All right, our nice pieces of mushrooms. Let's put those back in this pan. Now, at Bliss Bites, we're usually teaching how to cook edibles. This recipe is no other. Let's add one last ingredient. Sorry, guys. Just a little out of my arm's reach. We talked about this one. That's our can of butter. Now, you'll notice it is the very end of cooking this. I have not used the can of butter while, say, frying the pork chops, frying the garlic. It's going in at the very, very, very end. So, there's a reason for that. The THC will be destroyed at high temperatures. Anything over 375 degrees is my understanding. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. We're all new at this, we're all learning. And this will be fucking awesome, guys. Look at this. Just gonna let this set up for a moment, you'll see it finish. Look at that go. This is gonna be good. Can of butter just melting, mushroom gravy simmering. So I'm gonna turn that down a little bit further. Last piece to add in to let this come together, our pork chops. Boom. Done. Mix that up. Pull it off of the heat right now. Mix it and pull it off the heat. There we go, guys. That's going to come together here and set up. Just give it about 5 minutes. Now, from me, David, us at Bliss Bites, guys, thank you. I appreciate you. If you've got this far, please subscribe. I get off on it. It's fantastic. It's such a high. Please do. Thank you. All right. Today at Bliss Bites, we are going to make pork chops and mushroom gravy. Let's do this. Let's